Hello, this is Parmjit Singh. Thank you very much for stopping by to the Passing Clouds Coaching, Ideas, Thoughts, and Meanderings. So, about 10 years back, I was invited to a TEDx talk by McMaster University to talk about the idea of mindfulness and its applicability. So, I delivered a talk under the title Pay Attention, Live Tastefully, a title that my wife Manjeet has suggested to me. And the premise of the idea was that the moment we begin to pay attention to all the things that happens to us, regardless of their nature, their sensory value, our well-being or our state of abundance goes up. Because whenever we pay attention, we more likely become aware of the depth and the richness of the experience that's happening in this moment. And because the way the brain functions, in that moment, the brain has to wean away from all the thing it is thinking about, which is not present. So, for example, when it is not present, then it's most likely caught up in the narrative of the past or the anxieties and the worries of the future. So the moment you pay attention to something so simple, so mundane, so commonplace, so ordinary, you're forcing your mind and the brain to stay present and acknowledge the depth of experience that is happening. And by doing that, brain has to wean itself away from all the compulsive thoughts and emotions that continues to circle or cycle into our mind related to the past and the future. So I don't think I did a good job of laying that argument in that TED talk. So my TED talk was actually first thing in the morning around 9 o'clock. There was a lot of technical issues, and when I stepped onto the stage, there were a kind of blinding strobe lights, which threw me off a little bit. So after 10 years, I want to actually think about that, what exactly it means in a real sense of term to pay attention and live tastefully. Ever since that talk, my own personal practice has evolved. I have become more sincere in practicing and applying these things into real life. And it has allowed me to think that this idea of paying attention deliberately, especially, and purposefully, and especially resisting the temptation to avoid things which we tend to avoid because they seem very unpleasant, or they don't add value to our life, or they don't fall into a conventional narrative that we have to be happy all the time. It has allowed me to actually think of this idea in a much deeper, nuanced way. So, coming back to why did we choose the way we chose this topic to deliver that, is essentially that when we start to pay attention, our life become tasteful. Because in order to taste all the flavors of life, the sadness, the sorrows, the happy moments, the joys, the disappointments, the betrayals and elations that all come as a part and parcel of being alive and being in this great game of human civilization, is to become and to be respectful for all the smorgasbord of experiences that comes with it. And it has affirmed my belief that when we pay attention to the things, and especially when we override our compulsive tendency to ignore the emerging experiences, our life do become more tasteful, it becomes richer, it becomes more flavorful, because by the virtue of paying attention, we begin to notice all those things we would not notice otherwise. Because most of the time we are hung up on the grand scheme of things, we are looking for some of those aha moments, the earth-shaking excitements of major life events that will change dramatically the trajectory of your life. And those events are wonderful. They come here and there, but they are not the normal process of life. They don't show up every day. And if you putting all your eggs in the basket of being excited in a ground-breaking, earth-shaking way, then we probably miss the life in its finer nuances, in the small ups and downs of life. So if you begin to pay attention, you will definitely notice that the life becomes richer and tasteful. And it can be explained even from a biological perspective. There's quite a bit of research to suggest that when we begin to pay attention to all the things that appears to us or happen to us every day, our life, the quality of our being actually becomes a lot more richer and better. It improves our psychological well-being. You will notice that one of the biggest wear and tear on our well-being is the worries and anxieties that come from the future, what is going to happen, or our perceived sense of the things we could have done better in the past. So those dimensions of the time which are still not there, because past has gone and future has not arrived yet, and they continue to impinge upon our life experiences. By paying attention to the things in this moment, we somehow mitigate or somehow reduce their impact on our psychological well-being and reduce the daily wear and tear that happens on our mental health and psychological well-being. And then it translates into biology, actual measurable biological differences when we live life being present. And then we also, it forces us to change the way we relate to things. It forces us to change our relation to the food, to the people, to the commodities. We become more informed consumers. We don't eat just like because it tickles your sensations. You eat and think of it as a way to build your habitat in which you live. And you don't engage with all the material things just as a way of consumption, but actually thinking of material thing as a sustainable activity which we have to do as material body. So we don't become a mindless materialist or rejectionist, because one can be materialistic by consuming it mindlessly, or conversely one can be equally materialistic by mindlessly rejecting it, because as human bodies we are material. We need material to survive and thrive. But by paying attention to things at a final level and being purposeful, it allows us to change the way we negotiate this need of ours to be materialistic, or to be material, if not materialistic. So next time when you're thinking about to increase the quality of your life, thinking of making it more flavorful and tasteful, see, instead of actually looking for any earth-shaking experiences coming from travels and exotic getaways, think about, in fact, paying attention to things that happens in your ordinary life, because you are more likely in the ordinary life than you are in the travel plans. Your ordinary life is a lot more, it happens every day, and you have the opportunity every day to make your life more flavorful and tasteful than planning exotic trips and retreats and all those things. We will come here and there. So paying attention to small things every day do make our life more tasteful, and that do happens when we purposefully pay attention. And that's what I wanted to share with you. After 10 years I was thinking, what was the central message of that TED talk, which has been modestly viewed few thousand times, but I believe that I did not do a good job of sharing the central message, that why paying attention to ordinary things on everyday basis can increase the quality of your life in a much more flavorful and tasteful way. That's it for today. If you found this conversation useful, kindly drop a like, subscribe to our channel, share with other people. If you have a personal experience to share, please take a moment to spell it out in the comments. I will be happy to join you there. In the meantime, stay curious and reasonably non-judgmental. I will see you next time. Thank you.
Please subscribe to the channel, like and share. Thank you.